Que lo que mi gente, what is up? Welcome back to my channel and to another VBX Familia Speaks video. Now for this video, one of my subscribers asked that I do a video reacting to Dominican Ancestry DNA videos. So some of you may be wondering if I will be including the results of a particular Dominican YouTuber, and the answer is no. No, not including that foolishness on my channel. So the videos I will be reacting to were supplied to me. Now, some of these I have already seen, so won't be my first time viewing them. But either way, I will be giving my reactions and thoughts, to the results. So if you guys would like to see my thoughts and reactions to these Dominican Ancestry videos, just keep on watching. So real quick, the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to screen record my phone and just talk over the video basically. Okay, so we're going to begin with this YouTuber. The name of her channel is Curly Intervention. I am subbed to her channel. So as you can tell by the name, she does a lot of hair videos, specifically for curly hair. So definitely check her channel out.
So, for Africa, and I'll put everything right here so you guys can follow along with me. For Africa, I got 63%, which I was pretty much right about because I said between 50 and 80. I knew that would be the highest and most concentrated, of course. So 27% of the 63, I'm from Benin, Togo. 11% of that is Cameroon and Congo.
So right off the bat, her two highest percentages of African ancestry, those were my two highest as well. My top percentage was Benin, Togo, followed by Cameroon and Congo.
11% is from Senegal. 7% is the Ivory Coast. I have Africa, Southeastern Bantu, about 2%. Nigeria was 2%. Africa North was 1%. And Africa South Central hunter-gatherers was less than 1%. And then Mali, less than 1%. Moving on, I also got 4% Native American, which I thought I would have higher, like I told you guys.
So the fact that her Native American DNA is so low is not surprising at all. It's especially for Dominicans. I mean, I think the average for us is between 5 to 10% Native American DNA. I mean, basic history lets us know the overwhelming majority of the Taino population on the island of Hispaniola died down or decimated within the first 3 decades. So the trace amounts of Native American ancestry that we have is mainly through maternal lines that have persisted throughout the centuries.
And then less than 1% Asia Central Asia. And the other part is 30% Europe. And of that 30%, 11% is Great Britain. I was like, what?
Okay, so I was really surprised to see that as well, because although some Dominicans do have British ancestry, it's usually not the top European, country that they have. So that was definitely very interesting to see that. And I do think she says at some point in this video that she had a relative or a grandmother or a great-grandmother that was British. So that makes sense.
11%? What? Now, my dad did tell me that his mother was from England.
Okay, there you go.
And I thought that was pretty cool and interesting. I just didn't think that would really come out. And if it did, I thought it would be so small that it wouldn't even count. So I was like, what? 11%? That's pretty big in comparison to the rest. And then 7% Italy and Greece. And then my trace regions were 6% Ireland, 5% Iberian Peninsula. So obviously, Iberian Peninsula is Spain and Portugal, for those of you that don't know. And I thought that was going to be about 10 to 15%. So I had a lot less of that. So that was another interesting result there. The last trace region was 2% Middle East.
All right, so this next guy, the name of his channel is Juan Esteban Aliaga. Now, he only has 3 videos up. I am subscribed to him, but his only videos are his ancestry videos. So this is actually the second one he's done. So let's check it out.
So the biggest chunk of my DNA comes from Cameroon, Congo, and Southern Bantu peoples, and the percentage is.
So real quick, I do know that a lot of the African influence in DR comes from Cameroon, Congo. So not surprising that that is the biggest chunk of his African DNA.
36%. The next amount is Benin/Togo. Then 12% Mali. And moving on to Europe, I'm 8% from Portugal, 5% from Spain, Iberian Peninsula. Then also 4% Ivory Coast/Ghana, 3% Nigeria, which blows me away because on my heritage I was like 33% Nigerian and.
So that's another thing. Like when it comes to any of these DNA results, I feel like the African percentages, they always vary so much. I feel like it's hard to really pinpoint the African DNA. And like I mentioned this in one of my DNA videos that I did, but because like those ethnic groups, they weren't just confined to the arbitrary, nationality lines that exist now. So, it's kind of hard to say specifically, this is where this part of your DNA comes from. So, in some videos or with some companies, you might get a whole lot of Nigerian. The next thing you have like none. So, yeah.
The amount is like really low. 3% from England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe. 2% Native American, Andean. 2% Basque, which is a region between France and Spain. 1% Senegal. 1% France. 1% Sweden. 1% Baltic states, and 1% Native American, North, Central, South.
All right, so those are his results. So in his description box, he puts basically the full makeup is 76% African, 21% European, and 3% Native American. So this video, he's actually the highest amount of African that I've seen among the Dominican DNA videos. And I do remember in his first one that he did with My Heritage DNA, which he ended up having to turn off the comments. There was a barrage of people saying that he wasn't really Dominican, that he was Haitian and all that, which really like pissed me off because I was like, Dominicans, when are we going to stop doing this? When are we going to start calling Black Dominicans Haitian? And 20 Haitians out there, this isn't even like an offense to Haitians. There's nothing wrong with being Haitian. But what I don't like is when people like try to strip Dominicans of their Dominicanness and say that they're really Haitian just because they're Black. Like Dominicans, get it together. Anyway, on to the next one. It's Daira Moronta. I haven't really checked her channel to see if she has videos. So I don't know if she really like uploads like that. But let's check out her results.
Great. So I am 56% African. So I'll break it down. It says I am 20% Nigerian, 10% from the Ivory Coast, 9% Senegal, and the trace regions are 4% Benin, Togo, 2% Africa North, 1% Africa South, Central, 1% Mali, and 1% Congo. Now, I am 5% Native American. I am 37% European. And let me break that down. 14% Iberian Peninsula, which is the Spanish. I am only 14% Spanish. 12% Italy and Greece. The trace regions are 3% Jewish, 3% Scandinavia, 2% Ireland, 2% Great Britain, 1% Northwest Russia. And that's that. And the final one is 2% West Asia, which is from the Middle East. I kind of knew I was African, like a big chunk, and kind of Native American. I was kind of surprised that it was only 5%. I thought I had more.
So again, with this Native American stuff, I think a lot of Dominicans tend to think that they're like mestizos, which I don't know why. Again, our Native American ancestry is quite minimal. Yes, there are some people that have higher amounts, but for the most part, we're not mestizos. We are in a majority mulattos, not mestizos.
But what really surprised me is like I'm only 14% Spanish, like only 14%, which is
so that's it's not surprising, really. I mean, I guess you would think, or I guess in my mind, like I would have thought that most of my European came from Spain as well, but it was really like a lot of places, especially considering that my mom's dad was Spanish. But the truth is, I think most of the Dominican DNA results that I've seen, the European was very diverse. Like it's not just Spain. Spain was just a part of it. And who knows if those very Spanish people had other, DNA as well. So Bunny. Okay, some of you guys already know who she is, and of course I've already seen this video. But when I discovered Lenny, I was like so excited because, one, just finding another Dominican YouTuber, but like finding another Dominican YouTuber that's actually like balanced and, has like a positive and just like a non-biased view on a lot of things. Like talking outside of YouTube with her, I was like, yo, we're like mental twins. So definitely check out her channel, subscribe to her channel, and let's look at her results.
So, as I expected, I am pretty high. I mean, look at me. I am a Nubian queen. Okay. I am 47.8% Sub-Saharan African. West African is obviously the highest at 36.4%. And then you can see a breakdown of that. I am fierce, baby. I am fierce. Okay, I need to stop. And you got Congolese and Southern East African, 7.2%. That's broken down as well. And African hunter-gatherer, 0.3%. And then broadly Sub-Saharan African, 3.8%. I am not surprised. I knew I would be at least 50% Sub-Saharan African. I mean, look at me. Look at me. For European, I am 39.2%. Of course, Southern European, it's going to break that down as well. Mostly 31.4%. Spanish and Portuguese, of course, obviously. I just hate how high the broadly Southern European percentage is because 16% is a really high number and I would like to know exactly. I wish they would have been able to pinpoint that, that's all. But I'm not going to assume it's Spanish and Portuguese. But if it was Spanish and Portuguese, wouldn't they have just put it under there? Or someone explain that to me in the comments, please. Thank you. Then I have 3.7 Northwestern European, British and Irish, 0.19%, Scandinavian, French, Jewish, 0.5%, and then broadly European, 3.7%. Basically, I am 40% European. Again, I am not surprised by that percentage either, even though people like to take a look at me and be like, well, you're basically black. I've always been told by my fellow Dominicans that even if it's just a joke, it's just like, oh, you're not Dominican, you should be in Haiti, ha ha ha, you're dark, ha ha ha, Haitiana, ha ha ha. But you can look at me and you can see I am mixed something else. 8.8% East Asian and Native American. Also, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at how high I was for Native American though. And I can't believe that we're actually able to pinpoint Santiago because my mother's father is from Santiago, but my whole entire dad's side of the family is from Santiago as well. So that's crazy to me. It's crazy and creepy how they were able to pinpoint. And if I do click on the +9 regions, where my mother's side of the family is also on there, which is actually Valverde Mao.
So that is one thing that I do like about 23andMe, that they're able to pinpoint like specific provinces in DR. I did also get Santiago province as my highest most likely region in DR, even though my family isn't from Santiago. They're from Monseñor Noel, but it's only like an hour or less from Santiago. So yeah.
Actually under the knife. It's like, yo, you got all this information from me giving you this much of my spits? That's crazy and creepy. Thank God I don't plan to make a crime anytime. Chinese and South Asian 0.2%. You know, people do say that, no, let me stop. East Asian and Native.
Why is she so goofy though?
0.4%. I guess I'm kind of I am surprised that the Native American part was so high. I just thought it'd be lower, but hey, I've watched a few.
So real quick with the Native American, so there are certain areas of DR that do tend to have higher percentages of Native American DNA, specifically the Cibao region where her family is from. Santiago is located in the Cibao. So I think for people from that area, it's not surprising for them to have higher percentages of Native American DNA. Name is Ericks Sanchez. I am subscribed to him as well. Now he did like a pretty good job kind of breaking down like who we are like racially and stuff and how we identify. So real quick, I will play what he said about that.
A lot of people seem to not really understand Dominicans are not a specific race. Some are. So it's hard to explain. We're very mixed people. So there's Dominicans that have pale skin, green eyes, blonde hair. And there's Dominicans that are as dark as the darkest shade of people come. We're not all one thing. You can't expect a Dominican that has pale skin, green eyes, and white, blonde hair or whatever to identify as black. Some people want to say Dominicans are black. They're not going to identify as black because their experience isn't black. They're not treated like black people are, black and brown people are. And then yes, there are Dominicans that are very dark. Of course they're black. And then there are some that are in denial that are going to lie and act like they don't have any African ancestry because it's a lot of hatred within the country. People
Unfortunately.
just are in denial. Let's get into it. So this is the ancestry results. So Europe South, I am 25%. So Italy and Greece, and the range is 12 to 37%. So I'm somewhere in between that, which is 25. I have 21% Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal, and then 11% Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. I was really surprised by that. So I don't know why Ancestry changed it. It used to say European and have a certain amount, then it would say African and have a certain amount. Right now, it has everything mixed from what I have the most of to what I have the least of. So
that threw me off too.
Goes from Ireland, Scotland, and Wales to Native American 9%, which is all of North and South America. They can't tell you specifically where that's from. And I have Senegal, which is in Africa. I have 9%. Cameroon, Congo, I have 8%. Benin, Togo, I hope I'm pronouncing these right. It's 4%, which is also in Africa. Then back to Europe, Great Britain, 4%. And then I have 2% Middle Eastern, 2% African, Southeastern, Bantu, and 2% Asia East. I'm not going to read the description of all of these. That's just too much. And then Africa North, 2%. And then Europe West, less than 1%.
This channel is Mino RD. So this was published March 19, 2016. So this is a bit older, and y'all know Ancestry has been through quite a few updates since then. But let's look at what his results were at the time that he took it. Now, just by looking at this guy, he looks like he's probably like pretty split down the middle. He has, the lighter complexion, but you can still tell through his features and his hair that he probably has a good chunk of African as well.
All right. Okay, so according to my DNA, I'm 45% European, 43% African, and 11% Taino native. Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, his Taino percentage was a lot. Anything over 10%, I find to be a lot for a Dominican. And like I said, his results were pretty much like half and half as far as the African and the European.
25% Iberian Peninsula, 7% Italy Greek, and 5% Europe West, 3% Scandinavia, 2% Ireland, and 2% European Jews. And African is 14% Senegal, 12% Ghana, and 6% Southern Africa, 6% Cameroon, 2% Mali, and 1% Benin and Togo. All right, so I guess I was right on the African one because I said I was around 40%, but I never.
Pretty typical results for your average Dominican. Yes, Hernandez. Now I have already seen this one, but he actually has one of the highest amounts of Native American that I've seen. And apart from that, just by looking at him, I would say he looks pretty half and half as well. He probably has like a pretty similar number of European and African DNA. So let's take a look. Shout out to you if you're watching this.
Says 43.1 sub-Saharan African. Okay, that was shocking to me because I expected Africa to be at least like 60 or 70. So for European, it has 31.8% European, 19.5% East Asian and Native American. Okay, out of all of these that I just said, Native American was the most shocking. I like literally screamed when I seen that my Native American percentage was so freaking high. Like, I was like, oh my God.
Yo, but for real though, having almost 20% Native American DNA as a Dominican, I mean, that's super high. But being of the region of the country he's from or his family's from, it's not surprising. But either way, you know, it's pretty cool. So let's move on.
It also has 0.4% Western Asian and North African. Okay, and 5.2% undersigned. We also have broadly sub-Saharan African, Europe, Iberian Peninsula. We also have Ashkenazi Jewish, I don't know what the hell that is. Broadland Southern European, also another broadly European. Okay, and Native American, DR, plus 10 regions. Then it also has something say Siberian, I don't know what that is. Broadly East Asian, Native American, West Asian, and it also has North African and Arabian. I am 43.1% sub-Saharan African, 31.8% European, 19.5% East Asian and Native American, 0.4% Western Asian and North African, and 5.2% unassigned.
This channel is in flight in Miami. This is an older video as well from 2016, before a lot of the updates. But just looking at her, I would say, you know, probably in the 50 to 60 range of European, African, or 20 to 30s, and then I would say some Native American.
I'm gonna go from the lowest percentage all the way to the highest percentage. West Asia. West Asia, it says trace regions. I am 5% West Asia. And from that 5%, the lowest one, Caucasus, which is 1%. 4% Middle East. Okay, basing off of where Dominican Republic is, and basing it off of history, I was expecting to be anything from Spanish, African, and hopefully Taína. That is the mix that we're told that we usually are. I'm 14% Taína. It's actually low, but it's actually pretty cool. Some people don't have it at all.
So 14%, that's again, that's high. That's pretty high for your average Dominican. So I definitely wouldn't consider that low. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So the next one will be Africa. And in the other video, I even did my little Happy I'm African dance, but no sound, no nothing. Let's see. Anyway, so I am 19% African. And that is the lowest one being 1% Cameroon, Congo, 1% Africa South Central hunter-gatherers, 2% Ivory Coast/Ghana, 3% Senegal, and 3% Africa North. So that's pretty cool. Now, my highest percentage of African is Mali, and that is 9%. In total, I'm 19% African, the highest percentage being Mali. So that's pretty cool. 62% European, 1% is Great Britain, 1% European Jewish, 4% Ireland. I don't know, am I Irish? Okay, and this one was a surprise to me. 21% Italy/Greece, because I mean, some of you were right, because I didn't even know that. I was basically guessing Spanish, African, and perhaps Native American. And then I am 36% Iberian Peninsula. That's pretty much Spain and Portugal. It may also be parts of France, Switzerland, Italy, but mainly Spain and Portugal. So we're guessing that is Spain.
All right, so yeah, those were her results. So not surprising given her phenotype and the way that she looks. I think you kind of tell like people's phenotype. It does kind of, you know, give you an idea of what the results will be. Of course, genotype does not always match phenotype, but you can still kind of tell roughly where people's like European language. Another good friend of mine, a lot of you guys already know her. Definitely check out her channel and subscribe to her as well if you're more interested in learning about Dominican issues, politics, things like that, and just some other topics that she likes to discuss.
I consider myself a mixed heritage person. I'm very, very proud to be mixed heritage. So in the large percentages, I have Europe, I have Africa, which was expected, and other regions. So let's get started. So from the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal, I assume it's Spain because both of my last names are actually from the Canary Islands and also from Galicia. I got a 28%.
So real quick, a lot of the Spanish people, not only that went to DR, but also different parts of the Caribbean and other countries within the mainland, Latin America, came from the Canary Islands, not necessarily from the mainland of Spain. So it is not uncommon for many of us to have ancestors that were Canarians.
From that region. Moving on to Europe South, 15%, which was actually shocking. I am, according to this, 15% Italy/Greek. Then I am 11% Ireland, Scotland, Wales. That was actually pretty shocking. I wasn't expecting that at all. And then I get 8% Native American. So 8% is a very, very low percentage, but to me it's still pretty high because I wasn't really expecting, I was expecting like 0.01% of native in me, but not, I got 8%, which is great. That is the Taino blood. Then moving on to Great Britain, I got an 8%. Then I got 8% Senegal and 5% African North. I'm from everywhere pretty much. I also get 1% Mali, 1% Nigeria. I like that. I was expecting that because I always knew I had African roots in me and I'm proud to be African as well. 1% European Jewish. That was actually pretty shocking to me. I don't know where that came from. And also,
so if you notice, a lot of these results show that European Jewish, which I mean, it could come from a number of ways, but I think one way in which that European Jewish DNA came into DR was from Jewish people that were brought into the country by Trujillo back in the, 40s or 50s it was. So that may be where we get that European Jewish DNA from.
It was surprising to me to 1% Asia East, 1% Europe East, and 1% Middle Eastern, 1% Caucasus, and 1% Europe West.
Someone named Head Champion. This was published November 2015. So this is also a bit of an older video. Now, just by looking at him, I would say he's probably another one that's pretty split, like evenly half and half, because although he does have very pale skin, which would allude to, you know, a significant amount of European DNA, his features are quite African. So, yeah, I would say he's probably pretty split. So let's see.
I am 45% African, and that right there is amazing. I did not know that. Well, I didn't think that I would be that much African. You know, I was talking to my best friend and I was telling her, you know, 45, that's like half, you know, half African. So that's amazing. That took me over the roof, you know, because I didn't expect it to be that much. So 45 is amazing. And out of that 45, 12% is from Benin, Togo. 10% is from Senegal. 9% is Ivory Coast, Ghana. 8% is African Southeastern Bantu. And my trace regions are 2% Cameroon, Congo. Yeah, 2% Africa North and 2% Mali. So yeah, that's Africa, 45%. So after that is 40% European. So 40%.
So 45, 40, pretty close. So I was right about that. That his European and African were going to be pretty close.
European, and 30% of that is Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain, Portugal, and you know that's not really something that I'm surprised about because, like most people know, the Dominican Republic was conquered and colonized by Spain. So Spain did, you know, take over and rule that island for a very long time. So I'm not surprised that I have Spaniard or Iberian Peninsula DNA. So yeah, that's 30% Iberian Peninsula. Trace regions. So yeah, that's the trace regions are everything else. So I'm 4% Ireland, 2% Great Britain, 1%, just making sure that it's still recording, 1% Italy, Greece, 1% Europe West, 1% Scandinavia, and less than 1% European Jewish. So I'm 8% West Asia. So that's completely like shocking. I you know, I did not expect to have West Asian and 8%, and then 1% Middle East. And the last one is 7% Native American, and I didn't expect that either. I didn't expect to have 7% Native American. I know that the Dominican Republic had, you know, Arawak, Taino natives, but they always say that they were, you know, killed off, that they didn't survive. But honestly, every Dominican who I've seen on YouTube who's done the test, they all have Native American ancestry. So I guess I'm no different. And
all right, so now we'll move on to the next one. I don't know if it's her channel, whose it is, but it's called Blue L. So by looking at this girl, well, she obviously looks like she's probably more European descent. I would say it's in the 60s, maybe close to 70, 20% when it comes to African, and then I would assume she has some Native American DNA. So let's find out. If I sound a little congested, guys, I'm getting a little sick, so just saying.
Okay. Wow. All right. All right. So the three main percentages are 28% Europe West, 22% Iberian Peninsula, and 15% Italy, Greece, and 11 other regions. West Asia 2%. 6% Native American, 11% Africa. Okay, that's a lot of African.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why am I so African?
Did you read that?
I mean, you're only 22%, girl, but okay.
Oh, wait, I was only reading 11%. I'm 22% African. Okay, so I'm 22% African, and then it breaks it down. So I'm 11% from Ghana, 5% from Mali, 2% Africa North, 2% Nigeria, 1% Congo, and 1% Senegal. But I'm like 11% from Ghana. So funny. So then the biggest chunk is Europe. That's 69%. That's so creepy. It's very shocking that I'm from Italy and Greece. That it's really strong on Italy. And it's extremely shocking that I am African. 22% African.
Not sure why that's extremely shocking. Like, you realize you're Dominican, right? Like, we all have African ancestry, so I don't know why she was shocked by that. I guess because she's so, like, light-skinned. I don't know, maybe she thought she wasn't going to have any, but again, even the most light-skinned Dominicans have African ancestry, so not surprising. So, moving on. Yo sigo esperando. So, I don't know if this is her channel or somebody else's channel. When was this published? 2018. Okay. So just by looking at her, she obviously looks very European, kind of Middle Eastern, but I mean, I would say she probably has African DNA as well. So let's see what she has.
So let's see. European, 83%. Bitch, what is this? I was like, yo, maybe 60% is going too far, but I guess. What the fuck? It says Iberian, Portugal, 46.8%. Italian, 6%. Yeah! Expect that.
Excuse her cursing, guys. This girl curses a lot in this video.
What the fuck is this? That's where I got my big nose from, guys. Now I'm one of them. 1.8 British and Irish. Balkan? What is a Balkan? French and German? What? Ashkenazi Jewish, 0.4%. Broadly Southern European, 20.9%. 5.7% Sub-Saharan African. Woo! Native American, Dominican Republic. We are Dominican. How do you feel that I'm actually Dominican? 5%.
Por algo te gustaba la bachata, ¿no?
This girl's goofy. But anyway, so those were her results. So obviously she falls into the category of a white Dominican. I mean, 83%. That is, I think, the highest European that I've seen from a Dominican on here. So yeah. Alright guys, so that was it for this video. I know it ended up being a little bit on the long side. Like when I put all the clips together initially, it was an hour long. So I tried as much as possible to cut it down. But anyway, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!